Ever since the ending of the Dressrosa arc, we've learned a lot of stuff. But the things that are more important is what Dolphy was saying, the throne wars, and who will end up winning the throne. At that point in time, I remember that it was sort of like a metaphorical sense, where Doflamingo was trying to imply who would actually win out of the next generation. But then when the Reverie came, we learned a lot more information that there's an actual throne and somebody sitting on that throne, which is Imusama. But I feel like from what Doflamingo said in Dressrosa and what we've learned from the Reverie arc, we can sort of decipher something to get more information on who is Imusama, as well as what he wants with this world and who his biggest enemy could possibly be. And that person that is his greatest enemy, we all know it is the one and only Buggy D Clown. Yes, people, with his big red nose that says subscribe to the channel, because it will really help me out. Also, if you've been watching my videos more than once and you're liking the amount of theories I do have a lot more theories and videos coming out. So please like and subscribe. Comment in the comment section below if you end up subscribing so I can shout you out during my next video. Like I've said in my previous videos, I am gonna do a 30 for 30. I haven't been making that much videos, but I will be becoming more consistent and try to post one every single day. So please stay tuned, subscribe if you're liking the videos, and I hope you enjoy this video. So the Throne Wars in Dressrosa have literally been the main thing in this whole entire war against Kaido and Luffy becoming the Pirate King. But one of the things that I've noticed after rereading and rewatching the Dressrosa arc is what Doflamingo said. Doflamingo implied that he could be as powerful or he could threaten the sacred treasure. At the point of time in Dressrosa, we all thought that the Marines and the Gorosei were holding a treasure that contained so much power. But what if that treasure isn't power? It's Imusama. That is the treasure of the world government, of the celestial dragons. Now, why would Imusama be considered the great treasure? Well, I believe that will allow us to find out who he is. So who is Imusama? So before I get into that, let me tell you the definition of his name. The definition of Imu in Japanese is hatred or resentment, or it could also mean a person that shuns everything. And with this meaning, I believe that gives us a greater definition of Imu. Imu is literally what his name is, a person that is shutting out the world. He shuts the world out so they don't know about him, which allows him to have a greater sort of power. Imu has created a sort of system like the Reverie that is viewed as an oligarchy system, which means that a certain amount of people can control an organization, country, or in this case, what's going on in the world government and what's going on across the world. Now, by him implying that people have the authority, he can allow them to have this sort of freedom. But at the end of the day, he's the one that reigns supreme. So why would he do that? Why would Imusama create this system to lie to people, pretending that they're the ones in control when he is the one in control? During the Reverie arc, it was said that no one could sit on that throne, the throne that is surrounded by the blades and oath of the 20 kings of that time. But for some reason, he sits on top of that throne, which made me think the reason why he would create this whole entire system, it's to form a world that he can control without anybody knowing that he exists. A world that he reigns supreme just because no one knows that he's the biggest threat in the world. Now, why would he form the Marines and the world government and also the celestial dragons, knowing that he reigns supreme? It's because he is viewed as a creator. The way that the celestial dragons treat Imu and the way that the Gorosei treat Imu has to be because the way he sort of presented himself to them. And the way that he presented himself was probably, like I said, as a creator of the world, a person that has influenced the world because how long he's probably lived or what he's done for the world. He probably also created the Marines and the world government to have some military power. Through these two factions, these two groups, he's able to create a sort of power that is way beyond anything in the world of One Piece. Now, what does this say about his will and his influence? Now, Imu's will has been established, it seems, for a very, very long time. It all starts when we see Mary Joyce, this sort of isolated location that we're told that only the celestial dragons live or reside in. Now, this sort of shows us how Imu is in regards of what his will is actually pertaining to. In that sense, is the opposite of the will of D or Joy Boy's will. Like I said in one of my previous videos, if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out and this will make a lot more sense. But Joy Boy has his own will, the will of D, which leads to Goldie Roger creating his own will through the pirate era and possibly even the Revolutionary Army as well. That is the will of Joy Boy, to go against the tyrannical force of the world government, of the Marines, and of the celestial dragons. Now, in case of Imu's will, his will is to become the supreme person over the whole entire world, to be the head of the celestial dragons, the treasure that possibly is the one that Doflamingo was talking about, as well as him creating the world government and the Marine. That is Imu's will. And like I said in my previous video, those two wills are clashing. The will of Imu is consistently and constantly clashing with the will of Joy Boy. Now, why is that? It's because he used the world government to make this tyrannical force because he wanted the power to control the world, which caused him to have the greatest enemy, God's own enemy, the will of D. But he fears something. The thing he fears the most and why he went into hiding was something that go against every single power that he has. What is that power? I think I know. It was always weird to me when I rewatched One Piece and reread all the manga that the poneglyphs were still residing or still across the whole entire world. If the Gorosei and Imu and the world government and the Marines wanted to have this supreme power and to sort of get rid of any information about the past, why wouldn't they remove or try to find every single poneglyph? Between the fight of Law and Doflamingo, at least before it started on top of that rooftop, Doflamingo said that he wanted Law's devil fruit. The devil fruit of the Ope no Mi. This would allow him to gain the special treasure, or to obtain the power that he needed, which he then mentions the true reason or the true power of the Ope no Mi, granting eternal life. Now, if this is true, which Doflamingo says it's true, that means that there is a possibility that somebody in the world has obtained this power, the eternal youth, to live forever. And I believe that's Imu. And if Imu has the power to live forever, that means that that's probably why he wants no one to gain any information and to keep everybody isolated from what happened to the Void Century. And with this power, he would be able to control the world. And that is why the Celestial Dragons and the Gorosei probably believe that he's like some sort of god, some sort of creator, and he grants the power of the Celestial Dragons and the Gorosei to do whatever they want. Imu has probably lived a long time, but how does that sort of connect with the poneglyphs? Well, I believe that Imu, his power can only go so far. The poneglyphs are what I believe are to be something that extends out of his reach, out of his power. The reason being is that, like I said, why would you allow the poneglyphs to exist and to be possibly read when you have the power to remove all of that? It's because the poneglyphs are something that's out of his reach, that he can't control. And I feel like the poneglyphs were made out of something, sort of sea stone or something that allows him not to get close to it. And that is why he hasn't gathered up all the poneglyphs. I also believe that his power, his devil fruit, has something to do with a sort of clairvoyance fruit. Or he even has the same power as Madame Charlie. Because all the current disasters that the world government knows and that the world government end up stopping, like the O'Hara incident and possibly the new pirate era, I feel like he has spotted that Imu has realized that. And that is why he wanted to kill Roger, why he wanted to kill everybody that Roger knew, his family, everything. It's because he knew that something was coming, that the reincarnation or the will of D was going to end up reviving itself and end up hunting him down soon. So what does that mean? Who is the will of D, and who has the power to threaten Imu's tyrannical force and his authority? Now, who is Imu's main threat? A lot of people believe that his main threat has to be either Blackbeard or Luffy, because he ended up cutting up their picture during the Reverie arc. But I feel like his threat, or one of his final fights, will end up coming from Luffy or even from Monkey D. Dragon, because these two have been portrayed as the people that could bring anybody to their side. The type of people that can literally create an organization in case of Monkey D. Dragon, or like Luffy, wherever he's at, he can bring anybody to his side. This will all come together and end up being a major threat to Imu. Another person that could be a threat is Doflamingo. Doflamingo is currently locked up and impelled down, but somebody or someone sent an assassin to assassinate him. I strongly believe that Doflamingo, being one of the greatest antagonists in this whole entire series, that he still has a role in the final Throne Wars. He stated after the Dressrosa arc that he was keeping the reins, but it would be sort of ironic that he would come back and sort of rein everything back in. But Doflamingo, the information that he holds is so powerful that it compares to any sort of power. That he said that if he would say anything about the national treasure of the Gorosei and of Mary Droas, that he would be able to turn the whole entire world around. This information is so great that Imu also could possibly see him as his main threat. But there's one person in the whole entire One Piece world that I feel that has a bigger threat to Imu. That's bigger than Luffy's, bigger than Dragon's, and bigger than Doflamingo. And that person is Vivi. Vivi Nefertari. In the Reverie arc, we see that he sliced up Luffy's picture and Marshall D. Teach's picture, Blackbeard's picture, and put a knife in the picture of Shirahoshi. But he held Vivi's picture. He took it with him. Besides the whole entire thing with what's going on with the Reverie arc, which we still don't know, that the implications that Vivi or her father died. But I feel like he captured Vivi. The reason is because there's something about Vivi. Ever since we first saw Vivi in the show, she was a part of the crew. But one of the things that shined the most about Vivi is the amount of wisdom that she holds. And I feel like there was somebody in the Void Century that was extremely similar to Vivi. And that person was probably either related to Imusama or that female, which I believe was the queen of the Alabasta Kingdom. That queen was in a relationship with Imu. And Imu got betrayed by the Alabasta Kingdom. And he sees the spirit and the attitude from Vivi. And that is why he held on to Vivi's picture. It's because he has some sort of emotional ties with Vivi. And that makes her the biggest threat. The way that he can be weakened is through Vivi. Vivi has a special power, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to end up finding out soon. But this special power is so threatening that it makes Imu worried. So worried that he doesn't even care about Luffy and Blackbeard and Shirahoshi. He just cares about Vivi. All right, just let me know what you guys think about my theory. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said before, this is part of my whole entire 30 for 30 video. So please like and subscribe. It will help me out. And I'll catch you guys in the next One Piece video.